Hello, today I want to talk to you about 10 different ways that you can create really special Christmas traditions that either are completely free or that cost very little money. Christmas traditions are something that in our family, everybody looks forward to it every year. We have got a huge list of things that we try to accomplish during the month of December every year, and it's something that the whole family looks forward to. So I was just gonna share my ideas with you, and maybe one or two of them will stick for you. Okay, first of all, I just have to say that none of these traditions will help you create a more beautiful family culture if your attitude stinks. As moms, I think that a lot of times we're tempted to let our attitudes go south when things don't work out exactly as we had hoped or exactly as we had planned. It's something that I have to fight myself, but as you're going through these, as you're trying to incorporate new traditions into your Christmas, your family Christmas, just remember that your attitude sets the tone for the whole family. So if you want your family to be happy and cheerful, then you need to make sure that you are yourself being happy and cheerful. So as long as your attitude is good, all of the rest of this will fall into place, because at the end of the day, your kids might not remember all of the different traditions that you're trying to incorporate in your family Christmas, but they will remember your attitude. So it's all about creating family traditions that will last, that you're going to want to carry on the next year, the next year, and the next year, and that potentially your children might even want to incorporate into their own Christmas one year when they are, when they've left home and started their own families. So I always try to think about things that are sustainable, not things that are going to require me to stay up until like 2. You can hear the kids outside playing right now. Things that are not going to require me to stay up until like 2 or 3 a.m. Or that just leave the entire family exhausted, or that cost a ton of money. So it's really about creating things that are easy for everybody to do and that are fun for everybody to do, that you could potentially see yourself doing year after year after year. Okay, so the first tradition that I want to mention are different baking traditions. So, you don't have to think on a grand scale for this. So some of our baking traditions are, for Christmas morning, every Christmas we have cinnamon rolls. And we have done this for, I don't know, probably close to 15 years now, maybe even longer. And it's to the point now, my daughter actually helps me make the cinnamon rolls. So on Christmas Eve, that's when we get it done. They rise, we put them in the refrigerator overnight, and then we pop them in the oven Christmas morning. So I'm not actually cooking. I'm not actively cooking anything on Christmas morning. I'm just putting it into the oven. Hey, y'all can't stay back there, okay? You either need to go back outside or play quietly in the living room. Okay, go on. Shh. So the cinnamon rolls are not something that, they're not expensive to make. They don't take a ton of time to make, but it is something like if I were to, change it up this year and be like, oh kids, guess what? We're doing breakfast casserole. There would probably be a revolt, because people in this house have come to expect cinnamon rolls on Christmas morning. Some of the other things that might be a fun tradition are, making cookie plates. We do that for our neighbors. We take cookie plates and one of our Christmas cards, and the kids love to hand deliver those to our different neighbors. So that's super fun to do. And then I know that some people make fudge. I myself have not mastered Christmas fudge, so I've tried it once or twice, but never with any success. But if you know how to do that, then that would be great. I know that some people will make like homemade Chex Mix, and that's what they pass out to friends, and they have that in their homes to snack on. So there's all different types of baking traditions. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to make a cookie plate with like 12 different types of cookies on it. It can be as simple as a plate of chocolate chip cookies or a plate of brownies. So it doesn't have to be something where you are cooking all day long, because that's not necessarily sustainable every single year. Okay, one thing that we do every year, and my parents actually did this when I was young, and it was something that stuck, is we do a Christmas light tour. So my husband will Google best places in our area to go to look at Christmas lights, he will Google the best places to go and he'll come up with a route, and then we will go and do a Christmas light tour. So some years we'll stop and get some hot cocoa from somewhere. Starbucks puts it in kids cups with a little lid, and it's not too hot, so they can go ahead and drink it right then. So some years we'll do that. Some years we'll stop at Chick-fil-A and get 2 bags of their chocolate chip cookies and pass those out. Some years we don't do anything, or we'll take our own cookies or whatever. But that is super fun. And we used to do it, the way that my parents did it when we were growing up is we would go and do that after the Christmas Eve service, to kind of like get us tired so that we would want to go to sleep. If I'm remembering correctly, it was later though, like later in the evening. But our Christmas Eve service is like at 5 p.m. So, you know, that doesn't really work for us because we go home and then have dinner. So we don't do it on Christmas Eve. We schedule it during a different time, during the month of December. And that's how we do it now. But it's so much fun. The kids love it. All of our kids, even our grown adult children, go with us because they want to go and see the Christmas lights. And so that is something that we've done, I think, since the beginning, and the kids really enjoy that, and it's free. Okay, if you are a crafty mom, then Christmas crafts are a fantastic way to you know, spend some quality time with your kids and make some fun stuff. I am personally not a crafty mom, and so I really struggle with this. But one thing that I make sure to do is print off plenty of Christmas coloring pages, because I have some kids that they adore coloring. They love crafts and things like that. So having, you know, art supplies that will facilitate Christmas crafts, because I have one son that's like super crafty and he just loves making things. So if I just make sure that he has the supplies, he will figure out the craft himself. I don't even have to tell him what to do. But if you're a crafty mom, I mean, there are so many different websites with different Christmas crafts that, you know, Christmas craft ideas, you know, so you can do something like that. You know, your tradition could be to make a new ornament for the tree every year, or Christmas wreaths, or, you know, things like that. So there's all different types of Christmas crafts that you could incorporate and make a type of tradition out of that. Now, one thing that we do, which I don't really consider it a craft, but maybe I should, is we have one night during December where we make gingerbread houses, and we just use graham crackers for this. I don't make the gingerbread or anything like that, but I'll go to the store, I'll get some boxes of graham crackers, some canned frosting. You know, I don't make it, it's just the canned stuff. One thing that I have noticed is that don't buy the cream cheese frosting. Although it may taste better, it doesn't hold the stuff together the way, it's not stiff enough, and so you just need regular frosting to hold the different graham crackers and make them into a house. So what we do is we give each kid a sheet of parchment paper and you know, the graham crackers that they need, and then we put different candies in different dishes, and they just go to town and they have a lot of fun. Some of them take it very seriously, some of them do not, and are just trying to pile as much candy as they possibly can onto their sheet of parchment paper. So, but that is something that we do every year, and I mean, even my son that's 21 years old, he participates in that. Like, that is the tradition, and they have taken that on and they love doing it. So that's always fun, and that, I guess that counts as a Christmas craft. Okay, so decorating traditions. Even if you don't think of this as a tradition, it is if you put up a tree every year. Any other decorating that you do, we have, I don't know if you can see it behind us, but on our mantle back there's a nativity, and I added a few things to it this year, some really pretty glass ball ornaments and some twinkle lights and different trees. Some of our kids really get into this. We have a huge star that my husband hangs from a tree so that it looks like it's the star above the stable. So he does that every year, and some of the kids love to decorate with lights outside, and we have a snow globe that's Christmas specific, and, you know, of course, doing the tree every year. So, you know, there's different parts of it that the kids, you know, really enjoy and get into it. So if you can kind of think of different, you know, decorating traditions that you might want to incorporate. When we were first starting out, you know, we didn't have a ton of money, and so we would just buy one new Christmas decoration every year and, you know, collect as we went. And so now we have enough that we don't have to buy anything new every year. I will say though, one tradition that we've incorporated is that every year we take everybody to a store and everybody gets to pick a new ornament for the tree, for the Christmas tree. And so that was another tradition that my parents started with us, and that I thought that was a neat thing to do. So, and then when I got married and left home, my mom boxed up all of the ornaments that I had picked out over the years and sent them with me so that I had some ornaments, to start off married life. And so we'll do the same thing. We end up actually breaking quite a few ornaments every year. So this is partly to replace broken ornaments, but partly, hopefully, each of the kids will have a small box of ornaments that they can take with them. So that's something that they all enjoy doing every year too. Okay, Christmas Eve dinner is another tradition. Now, you can go in depth here and do a big home cooked meal, or you can do what we do and go to a restaurant. So this all started, we go to the Christmas Eve service every year. And this all started when, I had lots of little kids and not a lot of energy at all. And so the idea of cooking a meal on Christmas Eve, it was just like, I can't do it. So my husband, the year that I felt totally overwhelmed, was like, well, why don't we just go out to eat? And I was like, that's a fantastic idea. Let's do it. So after the Christmas Eve service, we're driving around. Well, everything is closed. Restaurants are closed on Christmas Eve for the most part. But what we found was a Chinese restaurant. So we were like, let's do Chinese. And so that became our Christmas tradition. So some years we would get Chinese takeout and take it home and eat, and other years we would eat in the restaurant. And now there's actually a fantastic Chinese restaurant in our area. It's run by a Chinese man who actually used to work as a chef at the China Embassy up in DC, and his food is so amazing and all of the kids love it. So we actually, gather the whole crew, and after the Christmas Eve service, we go to this one Chinese restaurant and sit at a gigantic table, and of course everybody's staring at us because it's a spectacle with 12 people and all those kids. But it is so much fun and everybody looks forward to it every year. So that's our New Year's Eve dinner tradition, and it doesn't involve me cooking. Now, this obviously is not one that is low cost. It is expensive, but this is one of our splurges, one of our holiday splurges, and all of the kids just have so much fun there. So, but try to figure out like a Christmas Eve food tradition, whether that's, just getting pizzas or some Chinese takeout, or a simple crock pot meal that you can start earlier in the day that's kind of special. And then you can come home after your Christmas Eve service and eat it at home. Okay, another really easy, simple Christmas tradition is having different fun warm drinks. So hot cocoa is an obvious choice, but my kids have really gotten into tea lately, hot tea. We were sick with a really bad cold about 2 months ago, and so now all of the kids are kind of conditioned to drink tea. And I was just at the store at Walmart last week, and I was in the tea aisle because my daughter was like, I need more tea. And I saw it was the Great Value brand, the Walmart brand, and it was peppermint bark tea. Well, my kids love peppermint bark, and so, it was only like $2 for the whole box of tea bags. So I grabbed that and I brought it home, and my little kids went absolutely nuts over this tea. And so now they're drinking tea out of really pretty little teacups, and it's kind of adorable, I'm not gonna lie. So some other warm drinks that you could do is, you could do hot cider. Different kinds of tea is fun. The hot cocoa, and you could even get, some peppermint sticks to stir your hot cocoa. But all those things are so nice and so soothing when the weather is cold. Okay, Christmas movies. This is one, our list has gotten so long of Christmas movies now that we watch, and some of the movies, the kids have to be a certain age, so it's kind of like a coming of age thing. We do the National Lampoon's Christmas, and we require the kids to be, I think, like 12 before they can watch that one. So once they're 12, they can watch that one, and when they're older than that, we let them watch Die Hard, which, fun fact, that's actually my favorite Christmas movie. So, but then we have, a huge list of all of the other Christmas movies that we end up watching. And, you know, with so many teenagers now, we can't watch all of them together anymore. But, you know, whenever, it's basically every night we're watching a different Christmas movie, and whoever is here participates. But the Christmas Eve is when we always watch National Lampoon's Christmas. And so that's kind of become its own fun little tradition too. Okay, my last tradition that I want to suggest to you is doing Advent readings. We still have not actually found an Advent book that we absolutely love. We're trying to find one that keeps the kids engaged but still has substance. We haven't found it yet, but we're trying a new one this year. But we do something every year. We have the Advent wreath and the candles, and then every year we get Advent calendars from Trader Joe's. They have, you know, these cardboard calendars that are $1 a piece, and they have the little tabs that you pull up and you get like a little teeny tiny chocolate. Last year we started, so we get those, but then I've been buying big bags of candy too, because, you know, Christmas and Advent, it's all about celebrating and feasting, and I just felt that those little teeny tiny chocolates were a bit miserly, and I wanted it to feel more special. So they get their teeny tiny little chocolate, but now they also get like a little candy bar. I buy like the bags of Snickers and Reese's Cups and things like that. So everybody gets one of those too, so that it feels a little bit more special. But you know, that's a fun way to end dinner each night. We don't do dessert every night. Like we, maybe once or twice a week, the girls will make brownies or something like that. But during the month of December, every night we have Advent candy, and then we have extra Advent candy. So that's a fun little tradition that we started. And you know, the kids love it. Even we buy one even for our 21-year-old son, and he opens it every night too. So everybody really looks forward to it. The thing with a tradition is once you start it, that's why I said it really needs to be sustainable, because people come to expect it. So, you know, if you go out and you buy $10 Advent calendars for all of your kids, well, if you end up with 10 kids, that's a big chunk of change. So it's nice to, you know, just keep in mind, is this something that we're going to be able to do year after year after year? And that doesn't mean you don't try new things and then decide to cut them off. We have done that too before. But the traditions that really stick with the kids and that they, you know, really enjoy, they're all the small sustainable ones. It's funny, it's kind of funny to me which ones that they get absolutely adamant about. It's not the ones that I would have thought. So I hope that this gave you some fun ideas for incorporating more traditions in your Christmas. If you have a tradition that I have not mentioned, I would love to hear what it is in the comments below. I'm always looking for new traditions to incorporate into our own Christmas. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.